Welcome back, folks, to another episode of What the Podcast. Hey, starring Ryan Tafolla and co-starring John Albright. Come on, do your signature move, John.
I don't know what my signature
Come
move
on,
is.
let's see it.
I don't have one.
Hey,
I like this one. How you doing?
Hey, on the couch as always, the lady behind the buttons.
Well,
Cara Tafolla. Come on, let's see that.
oh, there it is. There it is.
We have the old sprinkler going.
Sprinkler. She had the sprinkler. Dang.
And joining us again, Annie the Skovmand. Oh yes, that's her classic move. Same hand, same foot.
That is nice.
Oh,
That is
and
Wow.
that's it.
That was perfect.
That's it.
Was that all right?
That was just beautiful.
That was
I
all
tried to-
right.
One before.
I
you,
just
like,
been to that
kept
one.
I want to call out that
practicing,
there's some
and I
weird
was like,
energy
you always
on this side of the
improv it
this side of the
anyways,
room.
and you literally decided to improv it.
I wanted to point out that there was some weird energy going on the couch there. A lot of negative energy going on today. I
Look,
don't know what's
sometimes-
There's a
going on.
mosquito.
Sometimes
Kidding, there's a mosquito.
When
we
There's a
come into
mosquito.
that studio,
Don't
we
worry
just
about
gotta
Right.
rip into it.
Kara
I do
wants
see
it
it. I do
dead.
see it.
Well, let it live its life.
Of course it's going to land on me. They always land on me. They freaking love me.
All right, guys.
I got destroyed by mosquitoes at Moniker the other day. I
Yeah,
got
you
a
guys
bone to
love
pick with them.
Moniker.
Well, I'm gonna, this is, we're just gonna kick right into a good old fashioned podcast.
Are you going to do our
this
standard
week.
intro, or was that our intro?
No, that was our
Oh,
intro
okay.
this week.
Everybody, welcome back to What the Podcast.
Thank you.
I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
Together we are.
Ryan and John.
On the couch as always. Producer Greg Tafolla and the lovely Annie the Skovmand.
Beep boop.
Guys, I'm gonna lob it to you this week.
Okay.
Go
Right
ahead.
into it. I'm gonna prompt you with a question. I've been watching Rick and Morty. You ever seen Rick and Morty?
No, isn't that the whole pickle thing?
Yes, it's annoying.
Okay, it's not annoying. It's
That's
it's a cartoon.
R.I.P.
And it's really
Cartoon
great.
Network, yeah.
And it's very high
Yeah.
concept sci-fi shit. Okay.
High concept.
Yes.
Okay.
This
High
week's
got it.
episode. This week's episode.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Was they always get into wacky antics, and this week
Wacky.
Rick had a machine that made your body into two people. It made you into a day person and a night person.
Ooh, love it.
And you could control your body, your night person. You could program in like what it does while you're asleep. So your night person kind of wakes up and
So basically, you're 24 hours because you have a night
you're
version.
24 hours. So all those hours that you're wasting sleeping every night, you can program in. You can put like, does 1,000 crunches every night.
We've talked
Practices
about this.
French. Have we? Night
That's
person?
weird. No, not night person. Just what would you like your body to do while it's asleep?
We haven't talked about that.
Yes, we have. Because it was.
I
all of us
texted you
said
guys
work
earlier
out.
this week.
No, all of us said work out. This was like a
Maybe
year
we
ago.
did. Was this a pod deck
Find the
thing?
clip and I'll believe it.
Yes, it was a Poddex
The
thing.
point is,
No, we talked about what personal hygiene thing that you wish you didn't have to do.
you could automate.
Yeah, automate a hygiene thing.
But
I
then
mean,
we talked about
There's
if
a
you
lot
could
of
work out while
similar.
you're sleeping.
Okay, so give me a different answer then. So
So
if
you
you
said
had
showering. You said showering.
that was a hygiene thing that I didn't want to have to do.
automated.
but it's like when you're sleeping.
This was BA before Annie.
Yeah,
so
and
It
can
was.
we just,
honestly,
was.
that's
and that
pretty
really didn't
rude that
exist.
you're
Simpler
trying to cut
times.
Annie out of that
Well,
questioning.
the podcast started the first time my face showed up on the screen.
Dang.
So if you want
So
to
the
hit me the
question
question,
remains is, there's this concept of like you're truly a master of something if you had like 10,000 hours of practice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what would you do if you had those extra hours?
10,000 hours to master
Let's just say,
something.
sure. Like what would you master?
You-
what
you
would
looked
you
up the
do?
question, didn't you?
What would
No.
you?
No, I didn't.
You got it verbatim just there. You looked it up in text.
Well,
didn't
he
you?
just said it.
I texted it earlier this week.
Text
but
it. That's right. That's right.
what would you guys do if you had, we sometimes sleep 6, 8, 10 hours a night.
Yeah, last night.
If I had
less than
10,000
that.
hours to master something.
What would you do? I'd
really
for
trying to
sure.
get this mosquito.
Get it,
Okay,
Cara,
thank
get
you.
it.
Thank you for that.
That would
I
be
appreciate
throughout
that.
the whole freaking podcast.
So annoying.
It's like a housefly, but
What do you guys? Okay, well, Ryan, do you have an
That's a
answer?
fly. There's little mosquito.
I mean, I would probably say work out because I just don't have the temperament to do it. What?
Bad answer.
What? Bad answer? Okay.
To master something, you want to master working out.
No, okay.
oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. If
I
I was
was
really
master-
good at
Maybe if you
working
want to be
out,
like a bodybuilder.
I want to master my body type, just like do enough to can maintain a body type that I like.
you never have to worry about like, oh, am I physically capable of like doing something?
That's not
Yeah.
master.
Wow. You wondered that too. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, sure.
But that you have to maintain it. Just because you mastered it means you have to
Yeah,
continue to
and
work.
so every night when I'm asleep, my
No.
night person. It's
that's what it is.
It's a both question.
It's a both question.
You know, I'm more just toying with the idea that you have 10,000 hours to master something.
Dude, you remember that TikTok I sent you the other day? Or was that that bigger comedian guy, and he's like, he's starting his workout journey, and he's like, I want to get to the point where people wonder how I died and not just go,
Oh yeah,
he was a really nice guy. That's me.
ouch.
I want people to wonder how
Probably
I died.
same. But then probably too, like I'd tack on like some foreign languages.
So you
Yeah,
can do
yeah.
multiple things? I thought you were trying to master
No,
one
you can
thing.
program. Well, you know, you've got 10
Are you
hours
like
a night
Doctor
now.
Stranging?
Yeah.
So it's like, what would you
Yes.
have your nighttime body do? And with
While
the
you're
context of it takes 10,000 hours to master something.
So, you know, maybe in a couple of years, maybe not even in a couple of years, over the course of this year, you'll be the master at, you know, violin or guitar or piano or an instrument while you're sleeping.
Computer science is what I want to master.
I think the English language. If I could truly understand, like, because I feel like so often
Fewer
it holds me
words.
back because I'm like, I can't think of something that sounds smart enough or something, or like I forget,
Really?
or like
You're
I forget. I know,
You're
thanks.
probably the smartest of some of us in this room. Maybe I was going to say all of us, but I don't know.
That was almost a compliment. It was.
I was going to say
it was
Cara, because Kara's. I
almost-
know you're smarter than Ryan and I for sure. But
For sure. It's
like,
a toss up
God,
between you
Cara,
and
I'm like,
Cara.
I don't.
I think Cara and I are equals.
Well,
I mean, you only know one language. You don't think you've mastered that one by now?
No, hell no.
You took it every year in school.
No.
you're going to
there's
master
some
the
words-
English language. That's
you
so
can
boring.
Say, you can say an English word to me, and there's a 90% chance I spell it wrong.
90% chance you're bad at
Yeah.
spelling?
I'm horrible at spelling.
was in-
You
okay,
asked
then
how to
that's just
spell last
spelling.
night. Oh, it was a name.
I was in the
right?
first grade
Yeah,
spelling
it was
bee.
something. It was something
Do you
very
ever
common.
do you ever go to text something and then you're like, I'm not sure how to spell this word, so you just
I
like
voice text
change
it?
it up, or you change
Oh no,
the way you say something?
that's why I started voice texting.
Yeah, I feel so embarrassed when I do that. I do that sometimes.
I'll be
I'm like,
like-
or sometimes you can't think, like you know how to spell it, but you can't think about it in that moment. You're like,
You know
stuck.
It's
what?
the
I
thing
think
is, like-
that's got to be big, like education, right? Getting at you.
Oh, for
Because
sure.
do you guys remember being in school and then being like, "Hey, you're not going to have a calculator every time you need to do a math problem"?
like,
Well,
you
yeah,
definitely
screw
are.
And now
you,
we
bitch, I have
do.
a
We've
calculator all
all
the
got
time.
calculators on our phones all the time. We can access it
And you
anytime
can,
we
and
want.
you have the like scientific calculator. You
Yep.
turn it sideways. It has all the other buttons. I'm like, yeah,
Dude,
screw you guys.
Or the amount of times I
Cosine,
Google
syntax.
words.
At college group this
Yeah.
week, one of my students was saying that they even have like specific calculators for like, you know, an elaborate problem, like
And
algebra
programs,
and
yeah.
calculus and stuff. Like,
Well, yeah,
oh,
in college we still had to get like this freaking hefty duty big.
but now you can. But
calculators.
it's all on the internet now.
And also engineering,
Yeah.
engineers,
It's always in your pocket.
Engineers aren't doing long form math on pieces of paper. Like,
Why would
like
they?
There's
They've got the
programs for
internet
that.
now.
Like you just
Of
have,
course.
there are principles you have to know in industries now. It's not necessarily like you're doing all that manually.
But
I
you
think-
wait. So you'd be really good at
I think it
spelling.
would like. Well, no, I think that I would wake up and just like would have a deeper knowledge
Uh-huh.
and understanding. If you master a whole language,
Mm-hmm.
you're also like mastering in some capacity how to communicate.
oh
That
yeah.
would have been nice in like
master.
college or high school to like just in your brain have like a
Study
synonym.
for tests.
Yeah,
Yes.
synonym,
Or like antonym list.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like, oh
easy.
shoot, I've already used the word important
Yes.
12 times in this essay.
Think
Can't
about
use
how
it
much more
again.
homework you'd get if everyone had a night person. You know.
You know what? No, I'm not going knowledge based. I think that's all on the internet now. I'm going skill based, like
Okay.
something you have to physically do or to be able to like, you know what I mean? Like training in that way. Like
Sex.
you can't. I'd be like,
If you're a master at sex,
Okay. Hold
I already
on.
am, so I don't have to worry about that.
You wake up and you're
jury's
like,
still out on that. Kara hasn't. Her statement
It's like,
hasn't been
here's
released.
like my night person's having sex with Ryan. I just automate that.
I just thought of it, so I don't have to waste my time
My
doing it
night
anymore.
person does that. That's so good.
That's great. That is fantastic.
I touch you on the shoulder. You're like, hey, night person comes, takes over
Hey,
in
not
about
for another
5
25
minutes,
minutes.
so just relax.
Just chill. Okay.
Just chill.
Wow. That's
That'd be great.
pretty funny.
If you were like the master of sex.
Yes.
Okay.
What's your question? You have a question for me?
No, you're not.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
All right. Well, that's.
Come on, that'd be pretty cool. To be like, the other people would be like, oh yeah, no, I don't know if
10,000
I'm good, and
hours.
you're like, I know I'm good because I'm a master at it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but
I mean, I'm just
many
going to
questions.
say it requires a partner.
There's probably a lot of anatomy too, like book
don't know.
learning to that.
yeah,
Right?
right.
Yeah,
Study.
like
Okay,
you have
so
to
you're
study.
let's say your
You
night
have to-
person is out there like getting you a date. Is that what this is? Like while you're asleep,
yes.
your night person is swiping on Tinder and like going out to clubs, and that's so good. Wait,
Wait.
Perfect.
Your night person. I think maybe that'd be
Annie,
it. Is
that's
my
how we're
night
gonna solve
person?
the-
My night person has a totally different like life than me. I'd be like,
Whoa.
if I ever was like crazy and wild and free, I would do these and that like
Night
these things.
person.
And my night person's gonna do that.
Dang. But would you
Or solve
wouldn't you want to
crimes.
experience those things?
I would master solving crimes. My night person would solve
You'd be like
crimes.
the.
I would.
Go ahead.
What if I
What's
had a
the
day
Holmes?
person and a
What's
night
his
person
name?
podcast?
Sherlock Holmes.
That'd be a lot of podcasting.
Yeah, really good at podcasting.
Ooh,
I'd
my
probably
night person would do this podcast for me.
my night person would be listening to like a bunch of podcasts, and then get better at like
Or content creation. Think about how
Okay,
much
like
but then-
consuming information.
But then, as yourself, as the day person, do you also get that information?
Yeah, you have the
Like,
knowledge.
subconsciously?
Yes.
You share
yeah,
brain.
That's the whole
Oh,
whole
okay.
thing.
So when you're sleeping
they're separate
and your
people.
night person is out, are you like technically like you can never get good sleep because your mind is like
No,
No,
getting
you
all this
sleep great.
information?
You sleep great, but
You
like
get like a
so
download
true,
in the
Cara.
morning.
it's like your unconscious body is doing stuff,
I feel like sometimes that's the only time I can solve like problems is right before bed. Like you ever
Yeah.
in bed and you're like, I seriously think about the stupidest stuff right before I'm home.
Like
I'm
world
Yes.
hunger.
I'm like thinking
Yes.
like, okay, how do I get this camera to work at church? Like I'm literally like thinking of like all the
Dang.
steps and I'm like trying to go through it and like figure out where the weak points are right before I'm about to fall asleep. And then I forget it in the morning.
Yep.
Most of the
I
time,
have some
not all
of
the
my
time.
best ideas right before bed and right after I wake up, and it's this.
I told you about my
It's
dream.
this thing. Oh, do you have a crazy dream?
I sent it to you voice text the other day.
I don't remember it.
Okay, we'll look it up.
Yeah,
Anyways,
well,
all right.
that's fine. That's fine. We'll rehash it on the episode here. But it's that crazy thing, and I can't remember dreams usually either. And it's like as soon as you wake up, your brain's going, "Yeah, just go ahead and just forget that. Just go ahead and just throw it out, throw it out, throw it out, throw it out." Like I hate that.
I remember my
I could have
dream.
changed the world. Let's hear it. I haven't interpreted
I
a
didn't
dream
answer
on
the
this show in a
question.
while.
Go ahead.
Yeah, nobody really
Cara.
did. Go ahead. Give us your
Cara,
answer.
go ahead.
I would be a master at
Taylor
like
Swift.
all dance.
Self-defense.
Ooh,
Oh, dance is
that'd
good.
All dance.
Dance is
If
good.
my night person could just stretch
Yeah.
for me,
Yes.
that would be great.
Yeah.
I could just wake up and be flexible.
Totally.
Yeah, I
Like,
forgot you're a choreographer. You
All
should
dance.
choreograph something for us to
Hip-hop,
do.
Modern,
That
lyrical.
could be kind of fun.
Heck
A
yeah.
lyrical dance?
Jazz.
You should teach us
ballet,
dance. It's like a cool video.
gymnastics.
Anyways, yeah.
everything.
That's a good
Forget what I
answer.
said.
Annie, final
you.
answer?
For if my night person could
Yeah, what's
master
your night
someone.
person
master
do?
death.
Also, my night person is definitely a stripper.
Yes, Cara.
Make money in your
Making
sleep.
money and while Cara's
Wait,
sleeping.
why-
her
wait, hold
all-
on, let's
'cause
dive
it's
into that for a
stretching.
second.
Wait.
It's stretching.
That's so good.
That's
Dancer.
so good. It's
Wait.
a dancer who's stretching.
But why stripper? You could just
Because
be
you
a
can
professional
make
dancer.
money.
at
No,
night.
you know how much more money
Night
you'd make as a
person.
stripper?
Yeah, night person.
No.
There's no big
My
dance
night
shows at
person
2
would
a.m.
manage the strip
There might
club
be.
that Cara works at.
Okay. How did your night person get a management job?
Oh, she's impressive. You should see her
That's
resume.
fair. You should
That's
see her.
good.
She's very
okay.
impressive.
My night person is gonna run
You
the,
should
run the
see her.
door, security.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
What is your
John,
what's your night
what's your
person?
night
I don't
person's
know.
job at the strip
at
club?
at the night strip club. I don't know.
You
I'm,
perv your night person's going to the strip
I'm in
club.
marketing. It's probably.
Huh? Night person's attending
I
the
would like to
strip
be a
club.
master at being a strip club attendee. Is what I'd like to be.
It's you know what? It's a tough job.
If someone's got to do it.
Hey,
So how do you
somebody-
hold on to all
How
those
else
ones?
is Cara gonna get paid?
No,
That's
I,
right.
I
Somebody's
stick
gotta
by
do it.
computer science, but I'm going to go a little more specific.
That's
I'm going
good.
to say coding.
Coding.
I want to master coding.
I thought the same thing.
Coding would unlock your abilities in today's world. Like you would make so much money. I mean, you do if you
Yep.
know how to code.
Yep.
So.
Kind of did some coding on Tumblr back in the day.
Dang.
Yeah, to change like your
you?
I
page.
want to dive into
you?
the
Yeah, I
stripper thing.
did.
You caught that way too early.
What do
Is
you
this something
mean?
you've
No,
wanted to do?
listen,
and you're
every
just,
girl
you just know you can't
John,
do it?
John
No,
Albright.
it's a
every
dancer.
girl
You can do like a big dancing show, like when night starts, like
Okay.
7 p.m. to 10.
I'm going to say something, and correct me if I'm wrong. It's not that you could be a stripper.
Yes.
But
you just
the
have
wanting
morals.
to do it, like, is it you lack the confidence, and if you're asleep, then you don't need the,
No,
or is
it's
it like,
really just to, like, all night, if I'm going to be perfecting all dance, it's going to be all dance.
Okay, but
Okay, okay.
there's
So-
definitely different
Okay.
ways to
Listen to
do
me,
that
listen to
for
me.
the
I have
record.
a different answer from that,
Yeah,
but
you're
it's still
kind
on
of-
the same boat.
Okay.
I think every girl
Yes.
has said, I could always become a stripper.
You can always be a
And
stripper.
you always kind of want to
Sure.
live out that fantasy.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
I wonder if I actually could be a stripper.
Sure.
I'll change my answer. Burlesque.
No,
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 Okay, it's a
Cara,
little classier,
Cara's a
little
stripper.
classier.
Burlesque is more dancing.
I mean,
that's
you
what
gotta
I'm
think
saying,
about
like,
like here and now. Like,
strippers
there's
are
no
not-
burlesque dance, theater
I
in
know.
San Diego.
Because strippers aren't
So
like
you have to-
classically trained dancers. They're just like
My night person will
strippers.
drive to
that
Vegas
you
every
know
night.
of. The strippers we know
Okay.
are lovely ladies who
You
are
know
classically trained.
Yes, we're,
strippers.
we're talking about two
Yes,
things.
right, Cara?
You're being a stripper on the side to make money, but you have a dream of being a dancer, just like in Coyote Ugly. You're like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, Coyote
exactly.
Ugly.
Coyote Ugly.
You are.
But only when
Coyote
you're asleep.
Cara.
Yeah.
Great.
And also being flexible.
And she'll get everything she wants with that.
That's right.
Everything her heart desires.
Speaking of strippers.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Are you
Okay.
going to
Dream,
interpret the
dream.
dream?
Well, yeah. You want to hear my dream?
Sure, give it
can-
to
we
me.
can
I
do
haven't
it later.
interpreted a. Yeah. Let's pause
No,
on it.
this can-
Let's pause
Oh,
on
no,
it
it's
okay,
really
fine.
good.
Okay.
It's
because we've
really
got a
good.
lot of good stuff to talk
we do.
about
We have
today.
a lot.
All right. Yeah. Let's get into it.
Usually, we record on Tuesdays.
Uh-huh.
And usually the cards do not fall in our favor as it comes to
Classic.
news happening.
Now, and
Classic.
mind you, and this could happen too, that by the end of the week it's all resolved. Turns out it was a big hoax.
No,
But
it's not.
no. Let's hear it, Annie.
This morning, it was
Yes.
announced that Ned Fulmer of the Try Guys, and the Try Guys being YouTube sensations, a group of 4 guys who started at BuzzFeed, who then went off to make their own channel.
You know the Try Guys from. I mean, they're
Classic.
like
They're like
Classic. They're
YouTube,
classic YouTube at this
legacy
point.
royalty
Keith,
for sure.
Ned, Eugene,
And Zach.
and Zach.
But
And Ned's whole thing, his whole,
Shtick.
brand
Shebang.
was that he was the married one and he was so in love with his wife.
And has kids.
And he has kids and I'm married and my wife and my wife. Well, today it broke that someone saw him cheating on his wife.
At a Harry Styles concert.
Oh yikes!
And
Which-
I saw the video. Granted, it's like
I mean,
at
that's-
a like
that's where you're gonna
nightclub
do it,
kind of
right
vibe.
there.
So like you cannot really tell that it's him. So when it first broke, I couldn't see any like legit.
I could have thought it was maybe fake.
I
for
thought
a
it was maybe
second.
fake too. I was like,
'Cause
maybe
that
he
seems
just
like
looks
the
like
one
him.
thing that's not going to happen.
But when
right?
you went
Right.
to YouTube and this was like
Well-
a day ago, all the like, what are they called? Thumbnails were
Uh-huh.
like all, the 3 guys minus him. Like they like started
Oh,
changing that stuff.
shoot.
Like,
And they started
yesterday.
like a week ago. They
Oh,
posted
sure,
a
yeah.
thing saying like we're gonna go down to 1 video a week.
Okay.
Yes.
Where they've been releasing like multiple videos a week for
So
a
they
long
kind
time.
of, it seems like they knew behind the scenes.
Well, so then
phasing him out. Could you imagine?
their old social media manager quit, and he posted on his TikTok about all the people who recently have been cheating, like the Adam Levine scandal and all these
Oh,
people caught
okay.
cheating, the John Mulaney thing, and then he goes
He's holding a book.
and he's
cookbook.
holding Ned and Ariel Fulmer's date night cookbook.
It's like, oh no, now it's this person, and
Dot. And then the caption
so
was, "My
stupid.
last day was Friday."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind
and-
of petty. I don't know. I mean,
okay, so
Well-
let's break this down a little bit.
Yes.
Well,
So the pictures
What am
came
I
out.
sorry? What am I
Timeline,
missing? What am I
timeline,
missing?
the
timeline.
timeline is those come out,
Yeah.
and then someone posts a picture with him where they ran,
A
like
fan.
a fan that ran into him at the concert, and he's wearing the same outfit as the guy in the photo.
And the girl posted on her Instagram her outfit.
Okay.
And it's like the main thing of her is she has a tiny little white purse. And that's like
And
the one thing
I'm
you can
correct
see
in
the
saying
photo.
that this is a girl that works at BuzzFeed or with the Try Guys?
yeah, that is it was a coworker of his that was engaged.
Yes.
So he's married, she's engaged, and they're caught macking out.
Okay, and that's bad, right?
That's bad.
Yes, very.
But
Thank you.
Yes,
for
thank you,
clarifying.
Ryan. Bad.
I'm perplexed at the swiftness of the scrubbing.
Well, he admitted it.
Sure.
Yeah.
He which is like kind
And
of
in
what we
the
said.
past-
Like,
about it
In the
this
past
morning.
24 hours, he posted about it. The Try Guys posted about it, and she posted
Posted
about
about
it.
it.
The
Yeah.
wife,
he,
Ariel.
and I will say the Try Guys posted first before
Okay.
he or her
Well, that was
commented.
probably planned, I would
Yes.
imagine.
And I will say, like Ned and Ariel being his wife, their post looked identical, like
Yes.
same format.
Totally.
And in the Try Guys one was close, but you
so
could tell
different.
they kind of did it on their own.
They all did like a white background with black
just
text.
black text.
Well, and it sounds like based off of the Try Guys post that they're like shutting down the brand for a while.
And
Yeah, they're gonna have to relaunch because it.
They're like
That was
they're
their
like we're
whole-
done for a
it's
while.
just a little dramatic, isn't it? Like,
I don't think. I mean, okay, if you look at it this way, Ned was one of the founders. He was like,
Yep.
if you go back to the early starting of their like own business, he was like HR and like he
Yeah.
was the one who like fundamentally set up the business pillars.
Sure.
To then have him be the one who is having an affair with a employee of his.
Yes.
Like from an HR department
Yeah, I
standpoint,
guess that's
like
probably
that
true.
is like you cannot.
That's
like,
a no-no.
And
But
like not
it's-
even.
I mean, it seems to be two consenting adults, though, right? Which is like,
Yeah, and he put that. He made sure to say that in his statement. So he
Yeah.
comes out and says basically,
It's not like he, like, assaulted her
I made a
or-
mistake.
Sexual.
I was in a consensual workplace relationship. You know, family
Which is
should
so
be my
weird
top
because
priority.
he's
I'm
literally
sorry.
like married. That when I read that, I was like, that's hilarious because like I know he said it to set the precedent of like
It wasn't
it
like
wasn't
I was
abuse,
manipulating
but
her
at the
or
same
anything.
time, I'm like, that's such a weird thing to say when like you're like a whole ass married man and you're like, I
And
was in a
his whole-
consensual workplace relationship.
Yeah.
You're like trying to humanize.
really
that you just
clarifying
cheated
the
on
fact
somebody,
that
you know,
Well-
clarifying the fact that he didn't assault anybody.
yes,
Yeah.
but it's just funny.
And
like,
it wasn't like the power dynamic thing where
It was-
he was taking advantage of this
Yeah.
girl.
Yes.
It was funny to hear him say like him as
Yes.
a married man being like, I was in a
Totally.
consensual relationship at work, and it was like, oh wow, like this is like it just was weird to hear him use
Yeah,
that verbiage.
pretty
you know?
weird,
'Cause he's
for
married.
sure.
From former employees and employees of the Try Guys,
Mm-hmm.
the rumor on Reddit is that no one was really surprised.
Wow.
Yes.
And I was kind of
I
talking to
even
my
saw
sister.
that in a TikTok comment that said,
weird.
like, saw it coming because of a video that the two of them were in. They had hella chemistry.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That
Yeah.
stuck out to
The
me.
last video that they were in was they're all supposed to be in this girl's wedding,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and it was find a bridesmaid dress for me, for my girls to wear. So they all have this challenge to go online.
these four dudes are
She
wearing
says,
bridesmaids
like,
dresses.
There's
There was
like
only
three
three.
girls, or there's two girls who are engaged, and they're like, I'm looking for this. The other girls, I'm looking for this. And then at the end, they all try them on, and they choose which one they're going to do at the wedding. And she was one of those girls. And in it, it was like, if he was gay, it was like a gay best friend. Like, he was very,
Okay.
like,
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
they were so close.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's definitely, and she's like someone who followed them over from BuzzFeed. I'm pretty sure.
Got it.
Because she's been there a long time. She was like part of the original crew that they started up with when they started their own company.
Sorry, I cut you off. You were talking to your sister.
Oh,
You-
I
you
was
were
talking to my
saying-
sister because my sister loves the Try Guys,
Uh-huh.
and you know she's gotten me like Try Guy merch in the past and stuff. And
Burn
so
it.
when it happened, I texted her when I saw it, and when I saw that it had been confirmed, and she was like freaking out. And
Wow.
we called each other and we kind of were talking about it, and I said, you know what, like, who's to say that this isn't a situation in which they have been separated? Because the reality is, like, how dumb can you be? You're going to a Harry Styles concert,
Yeah.
and you're going to take the girl you're cheating on your wife with, and, like, you're famous.
I mean, they get bold, right? Yeah, like they're like,
but
I
like,
don't think they went together.
maybe they did.
I think they knew each other was going, and then they met up after. Because there's no photos of
How's
them at
that?
the concert together.
but it's just weird. Like, you're
Yeah,
the-
they totally went together.
like you're making out in public, and you don't think anyone's gonna see. You don't think any fan.
Maybe
And like,
they were drunk.
and maybe
Yeah.
they were, you know, but I was kind of saying like
Judgment
that
impaired.
feels so risky that like maybe it's more of a
They wanted to get caught.
yeah, or like, you know, we've been doing this anyway, and everyone, especially if it's the kind of thing
Ugh.
where like everyone behind the scenes kind of already knew about it. Which I don't think it's that because they straight up fired him.
Yeah, that's okay. So that's what I was saying. Like the swiftness in that they fired him, and they're like smudging him from the brand. Like, doesn't it seem a little like I'll play devil's advocate here, dramatic? Is this maybe an overreaction?
Well, their whole thing is like they're wholesome.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
wholesome and they love and like it's family oriented and it's like 4 best friends and
if they're
loved
if they're
ones.
4 best friends, like how can they so quickly be like, yep, and now we're 3 best friends?
Because they're 4 best friends that have a business.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have definitely
Kinda
done
like
something
4
a little
other people I
different.
know.
I just
Sure.
if to me it felt like a little cancel culture-y to me, and I was a little disheartened.
Cancel
figure.
him. Do it.
Well, just because I know like he did a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm not justifying what he did.
How would
No,
you like
for
us
sure.
to react when you cheat on your wife?
Okay, I'm
He's
just
like, I want the
stop.
record to say I'm not cheating on my wife.
Lawyers
I-
want us to know.
I feel like what they could like their brand is so like authentic, which is what we love about them.
Uh-huh.
So instead of being like we're gonna close down for a while, like instead of doing that, just being like, hey, this is what happened. They're dealing with it privately, but we're gonna still make content. Like
Right.
and when they're ready to address it publicly, like we're gonna let them do that.
How many
What if it's-
subscribers do they have?
What if it's different?
7.9 million.
I mean, that's $1 million business right there. We're talking like there's no time
Which,
to be like
also
small,
makes sense why
small
would they
YouTube
stop?
channel.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Well-
well, it sounds like they're going to continue just without
Okay,
him.
what if this is different? What if it like look at it in a different light? What if they were already kind of separating? They were already having issues, and they were scrubbing him for different reasons, and then all of a sudden he gets caught cheating on
And
his
this is
wife.
just an easy way to scrub him out.
Yeah, or like because say this really did like drop today and no one behind the scenes knew about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they're already, but like, then why? How do you explain the fact that he wasn't in like the last 3 videos and they were like scrubbing him from thumbnails?
I
And,
mean,
like,
who leaked the photo?
it was like a fan.
See, maybe it wasn't.
Well, no, it was like the photos of
something
them
was on
kissing was
Reddit.
like TMZ looking.
Yeah.
It was like
Sure.
full on like pap looking.
They're-
but
they're-
then the fan
Pap
posted with an emoji in front of her face being like, I took a picture with Ned and that is the same shirt. Because the picture, you can't tell who it is.
Yeah.
Because it's
From-
weird that like the social media manager quit on Friday and then it comes out.
Well, from what I understand, my
later.
sister did deep dive into this real fast. I guess this has been brewing on Reddit for a couple months. The theory that he
He's
was
cheating on the wife.
on Ariel.
So there you go. So there's other information clearly that, you know, and a lot of this is speculation. Obviously, we don't have all the details. And
I mean,
don't
yeah,
know.
I would say, hey, if what the podcast was $1 million business,
Yeah.
and we had a ton of employees, and we found out that one of us was cheating on our significant other with one of the employees, like
Ugh.
Yeah.
Cut.
That's, I mean, right. That you're right. Because then
we could still all be friends, but like,
one wrong message, and then it's like, oh yeah, all the Try Guys are victim blaming and they're sympathizers
oh yeah, the
to
try
like cheating.
The
and,
Try Guys don't care about cheating on their wives.
Yeah. And I mean, that's like his whole thing was like, I'm the wife guy, and it's like
They
now
went
you don't
hard,
have
though.
a thing.
I wonder
'Cause
if they
it's- 'cause
weren't
it's-
really that close.
They're married and then Keith has a
They all
wife.
Keith has a
Unfollowed
wife,
him on
and
Instagram.
they
Yeah.
all unfollowed him so fast on Instagram. Zach's
Crazy.
engaged.
He's engaged.
He's engaged.
And then Eugene is like in and out.
He's in, like-
always in and out of videos.
Yeah,
I feel
but
like.
but that's because like he's doing actual like acting and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like he's doing other things and modeling and stuff.
And
like
Keith is in a like an improv band that they're doing like a tour.
Yeah.
I
right
think
now.
he's in. Wasn't
He's
that guy
my
in-
favorite.
Isn't he in College Humor too? Or
Yes.
was he?
he was.
Doesn't he do like the game show?
He's
he
married
doesn't.
too.
He doesn't.
He's so
well,
funny.
and the Try Guys
Yeah.
have a show on the Food Network.
Oh,
So
they
someone
do?
I saw
I mean, we're
a TikTok
talking-
about that of like, you know what, they can cut them out of their channel, but like they have a primetime show
Yeah.
on TV with
They've
the
all
like
got
contract.
contracts.
Like
Yep.
what are they gonna do for that? Like, is he just gonna be?
I wonder
in
if there's
those
a
videos?
contingency if you cheat on your wife. Like
If
your
you
wife is
cheat.
part of the
But
contract.
But that's okay. So this is
See? Do you
In
see
the-
the mosquito?
It's a podcast. We don't have to address it.
in the realm of Ellen.
Uh-huh.
Like, don't make your thing like being nice or being perfect
Because you're not nice.
because you're not nice and,
And
you're
you're
not
not
perfect. And like, don't make your thing.
Did she make
I'm
it though?
obsessed. Yeah,
she did.
her whole
I mean,
thing was like, be kind to each
people,
other.
yeah.
Be kind
Yep,
to
make
each other.
someone
Be
laugh
kind to
today.
each
That
other.
was, like, her whole thing.
Like, right? And it's like, hey, when it turns out you're an asshole to your crew,
Yeah.
it's going to get out. And then people are going to be
Maybe
like,
okay,
she's
so
a
maybe
liar.
that's why. Maybe the whole brand is built on this like insecurity, and he's like, "Oh, yep, love my wife, haha." Like, can't talk enough about my wife, and in reality, in the background, he's like, there's a broken relationship, and he
Yeah.
actually is, seeking out a different, somebody else, right?
Interesting.
And who's to say, like, because she kind of got propelled to fame, like,
yeah, she's
through
part
him.
of the Try Girls or Try.
Yeah, and
Try
she had a
Wives.
No
podcast.
way.
The last
Wives,
Oh, the
three,
yeah.
Try Wives.
Yeah.
the last 3 episodes of their podcast, and they have a pretty successful podcast about like, you can sit with us, and it's like all the wives and the girlfriends who are like just
Wow.
sit down and talk. And she wasn't on the last 3 episodes
Oh.
of her own
Dang.
podcast.
She's dealing with
And she,
Something.
I will say though, like,
behind the scenes.
the world is so black and white, and but like in a gray world, which is so funny because both Ned and Ariel both posted in their posts like, we're working, like,
Family's
all that
important.
matters is our family and our marriage and our kids.
Sounds like they're not getting divorced.
Yeah, it sounds like they're not
Yeah.
getting divorced.
It sounds like
And I think the
they
world.
both knew. Are they swingers?
Well, so that's what
No.
my sister was like. What if they have like an open relationship? What if
relationship.
they have a different marriage? What if
That's
they have?
not what that post indicates. That
No,
post
that po-
indicates that they're
we're-
committed to each other, and he really did just make this mistake, this
Yeah.
long mistake.
But if that happened,
Because cheating's not just like a,
could you forgive in 3 days?
No, it's not. That's not what it's
I
about.
don't think that's
the
it's
post.
like a,
the post isn't
we're
a,
gonna
I forgive
work
you.
to try to save our marriage. We're not. I'm not gonna just like
Because
please
it's
don't
never
crucify
like
him because
I mean,
I'm
maybe some
choosing
people
him.
do like randomly cheat one night, like they're in Vegas and they suddenly
so-
cheat. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking more it's on the along the lines of like it's an indicator of a broken relationship, a broken marriage.
Because I knew this couple in which he cheated on his wife. He had a one night stand at like a conference thing. Automatically felt so terrible. Calls his wife before the night is over. Admits it all to her.
Wow.
They go through copious like years of counseling, and they're still married. And their marriage came out on top.
Sure.
But my thing is like, and I was talking to my sister about this, and I used that example. I was like, that's so different though than like you had this ongoing relationship
Yep.
with a coworker of your. Like I feel like if it's a one-time mistake and it's like truly a mistake, a mistake like you have once. You don't. I don't know. I don't think that I believe
Yes.
in like
Agreed.
ongoing
Agreed.
mistakes.
Like, how long?
Then you're just
how
doing it
long
on
do we think
purpose.
this has been going on? Months, a year?
Right.
Yeah, probably
Tell
like
us, Ned.
Yeah,
Ned?
Tell us.
Riddle me this,
Ned.
You know,
Nedford.
Ned, your stinking TikTok has now popped up on my For You page.
yeah.
yeah,
Isn't that
Ned.
handy?
Yeah, thanks for Annie
Just-
sending me all those TikToks ruining my
Oh,
FYP.
it ruined my For You page.
No, has his actual TikTok popped up in
Yes,
yours?
with his son.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
Ned, get
I'm
out of
loving,
here.
Page.
I'm loving all the ones that people are posting, like all of this stuff. Like, was it the one you sent me that was the wife, and she's like, if you think that he's cheating, he probably is.
Yeah, it literally.
And he's like, haha.
It's like an old video that he was in for BuzzFeed. And it's like, if
Crazy.
it feels like cheating,
It
it's
probably
cheating.
is. Yes.
Yikes.
And it was like, oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
But I like what you say about I also agree that the world is fairly gray and
Yeah.
the way they're treating it is, the Try Guys I think are treating it black and white, and from his and her post it seems like
they're going to try
gonna
to
work
save
on
it.
it and try and save it.
I mean, they have 2 kids involved.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a crazy
I don't know
weird thing.
what's worse.
Uh-huh.
Like what happened here with a coworker. I just imagine that this is probably her worst nightmare. Like
The coworker.
no, the wife.
Yeah,
the
she's like,
wife,
damn.
because like he becomes famous.
Mm-hmm.
He's around all these women
Uh-huh.
all day, and like he's this charming guy on the internet.
Yep.
I'm sure to some degree, in the back of her mind, whether she is consciously or subconsciously thinking about it, this is probably her worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Like him falling in love with somebody else because he gains the notoriety. Sorry.
Notoriety.
Now, don't you wish you were a master of the English
You know,
I
language?
do
if
wish.
you could have just mastered that
Yeah.
notoriety.
And so I imagine for her, it's probably like her worst nightmare. But I don't know what's worse, like having an ongoing thing with somebody or having you know, having multiple one night stands with random people because you can't really trust them if they're sleeping with random people, right? But like, also, if they're sleeping with people that they know really well, it's like, but you actually like grew a relationship with that person, you know? Like,
I can't imagine.
I think multiple one night stands because then it's like
you can't trust them anywhere.
Well, and on
They just
top
have
of
no
it, it's like
self-control.
it's not like
Yeah.
you're craving like a deeper thing that we could get to. It's like you have this weird perversion where you just like
Get turned on by
Want-
like
No,
want
the person at the
random
bar.
that would
sex.
probably actually no. I disagree. I think the opposite. If I was like, oh yeah, like Cara cheated on me and it was with one of my best friends or something, you know, I'd be like,
so she
that
is
sucks.
the associate producer.
I'm kind of mad that she hasn't made a
She
statement.
hasn't said
Well,
anything.
you know
I just
people
looked
are
at her
saying-
Now
Instagram.
she's she's the other woman, and
Yeah.
not just in that relationship, but in all of our
Well,
eyes.
and
It's
she-
like this
her-
skank comes in, and you know,
Yeah, screw her.
sorry to use the word skank,
fiance-
but that's like what
Her
the public eye
fiance
is seeing her
unfollowed
as.
all of them and like
Well, yeah, that's pretty standard. I feel like
Pretty standard
I've seen-
fiancé
well, I mean, if
divorces.
my fiance was cheating on me with some famous guy,
With some
I'd be like,
famous
I'm
married
freaking
guy?
done with you. Like I'm done with all
And
of
how
that
many
brand.
conversations did they have? Like, you know how it's, oh, really? Are you going to cheat on me with this famous guy you work with? No, come on, please.
what's the
That's
Michael
never
Scott?
gonna happen.
You cheated on me when I specifically
Yeah,
asked you not to.
I also saw a bunch of comments about people. What's her name?
Alex.
Alex.
Yeah,
People were
Alex.
commenting on the post. I was like reading through some of the comments. They're like, yeah, they should just replace him with Alex. I'm
Who's
like,
Alex?
the girl that he cheated
associate.
on her
Oh,
with.
no.
what's her
they
name?
have a producer.
Oh,
a
wait, what's the
different guy.
girl's name?
Her name is Alex also, but
Oh, okay.
they have
Andrea.
They're
yeah.
like we should
Oh.
no, they were talking about the girl. And then
No
somebody
way,
was
were
like
they?
why would you like how come why would she get like
She
benefited
still,
out
she
of all
still has the
this?
photo that is like the damning evidence.
Of
Oh,
what?
she doesn't
Her
care.
outfit.
Her outfit that night.
She was probably looking for a way out of that engagement anyways,
And this
I would
this
imagine.
post of this outfit was July 17th.
People like let's be
a long
honest.
time ago.
Society
Yeah.
right now, she's gonna benefit from it. Like there's just no way that she won't.
You think this was a ploy? You think this
No.
whole
No,
thing
I
was
think
a
they
career
acted
booster?
so smoothly to try to.
Really? Was it?
Okay, but like,
Maybe.
No,
when's the last time
intentionally,
you thought
or
about the Try Guys?
Or two people in
That's true.
sad, broken relationships find each other and find solace in the fact that, like, you know,
Maybe
they
they're
can't.
soulmates.
They're not satisfied in their relationship, and
the
so
difference is like, okay, I'm going off that. I'm sorry,
Yes.
I kind of cut you off. In
yeah,
it,
go
but
ahead. No, do it.
If you're in a sad, broken relationship
Mm-hmm.
and you know that your whole shtick is like, we're together, we have date night cookbooks, and we're in love,
Yeah,
and I
sure.
love my wife, and you're in a sad, broken relationship, you're trying to seek elsewhere. Just make a statement that you guys are separated. Agree to work on it. And
I think
separate
that's the
for a
black
bit.
and white world, and I don't think that people operate that way. I think he probably knows what he's got, and he knows, like, he's probably living his nightmare right now. Is it all went nuclear and it all fell apart? But that doesn't, you know, that being said, he's still, you know, people have these needs, right?
Yeah.
And if their needs aren't being met, then
Yeah.
they're gonna try and get them met elsewhere. You know, so I
Whoa.
think it's both, right?
I'm sure.
Why does anybody cheat? Not just like for fun or financial gain. In John's case, I mean,
I'm not saying financial gain. What I'm saying
the
is
deals for her are gonna start rolling
no,
in.
not even the deals. I'm just saying that like I think you'd be surprised with how much of the internet will side with her. Like people like the villain nowadays. Like they're
Well,
they're
and
chill
they're
with
gonna-
that.
and they're gonna
But
go
that's what I'm saying. I
into-
think she's the villain in that situation.
I know.
'cause
Yeah,
he's the.
1,000%.
Sure.
You're engaged and he's married. Chill out.
Yeah.
And
But
you're saying
also
people will rally
he
behind
could
her because
also-
of that,
But he could also be the villain because she's engaged and
right?
And you're married.
I guess-
Power.
I
The
think-
dynamics, right?
Good guy, like wholesome man falls from grace is way the story right now. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's like, I don't know. You know, white guy
Just
messes
don't
up
make,
is
don't
like
make your shtick
people
something
love
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
Like, because
Yeah.
like the reality is like, your wife is broken. A marriage is hard. Like, if you make your whole thing, it's like, I love my wife and it's perfect. Like, you're bound to fail
That's
in
your
some
brand.
capacity.
You're bound to fail.
You're bound to fail.
Yep.
Well,
It was all doomed to fail.
All doomed.
kind of like
Speaking of doomed to fail,
another
nice.
something.
Hey, tap me up on that one, on that
Oh my
transition.
gosh.
Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, last night we saw the movie Don't Worry, Darling. And
Man.
all 4 of us were shook by it, and we're going to
Shook.
dissect it. So
the core.
if you haven't seen this movie yet, go ahead and pause right here, or, look in the timestamps. You can skip to the end.
And for the
past our
record, if
conversation.
somebody's telling you that it's bad, it's good. Go see it.
Yeah, so
okay?
let's dive right in. You guys, this movie, obviously we talked about the buzz last week around the movie. The marketing is
Yes.
fairly guerrilla. But ever since it came out, it's been getting dragged in reviews. It's been getting it got like a 20%,
38.
a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes
Rotten
critic
Tomatoes
score.
sucks.
But it had
And
an
they're
audience
dragging
score
it.
of 80%.
And
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think that's
Rotten
because
Tomatoes sucks.
it's a great movie.
It's a good movie.
People
it's a-
don't like good stuff.
People don't like good things.
It's one of those movies. I was trying to explain this to my roommate Tyler.
Okay.
And I said, and she said it better than I did. She's like, it sounds like it's one of those movies that it's really good to watch, but if you sit there and think about it, yeah, you could find holes in it, and you're like,
Oh,
but that's
totally.
I said
Or
it's just a
yourself-
good movie to
No.
watch.
Yourself will spiral. And
Yeah.
maybe that's why
Oh.
I
people
will say
don't
that's
like it.
that's something that I haven't felt in a long time. Is it felt like a movie?
Yeah.
We
like
sat
Harry
there in the
Styles
movie
said,
theater.
Like Harry
I like
Styles
it's a
said.
movie because it feels like a movie.
It feels like. Did he say that in the
yeah,
movie?
he said.
You are being
I
funny?
No.
Oh,
That was a
it's-
big thing he got dragged for. Was someone was like, "How was it filming this movie? What do you think about it?" And he's literally like, "I like it because it feels like a movie."
He's
Oh
like,
my gosh,
I loved
that's so
filming
funny.
the movie
No,
because it felt
feels,
like a
let
movie.
me rephrase that. Then that's funny. It felt like we went to go see like a big blockbuster hit. I
Yeah.
feel like I haven't been in the movie theaters and really enjoyed that. Like I felt that with when we went and saw Nope. I thought that was the
Yeah.
same kind of feeling. But this movie just hit. And
Maybe
it,
it's because
No.
it's more period piece.
You know what? This
and I'm
one,
a sucker for like a psychological thriller too.
It
I
was
looked over and
engaging.
we were all like
On the edge of our
visibly
seats.
uncomfortable.
Yes.
But when it was
Yes.
all breaking down.
It was. I felt like we were all engaged the whole time.
The whole
It's
time.
so-
I've
good.
gone to more movies in the last year I've been on this podcast with you guys than I have in probably the
Okay.
last 5 years of my life. Because
Okay.
I'm not someone who necessarily would
good.
me myself be like, oh, I want to go see a movie.
Do you think you've turned yet, or are you still like you don't get it?
I like to do it with
I-
friends.
you
I
don't
think
get
I
it.
still I have a horrible habit of talking in movies, and I think that's what keeps
Oh,
me
we
from
all
it.
talked.
Yeah,
during
we
the
all
podcast.
talked.
Not
So
all
you
of us.
just
Fine.
But
it was
This was a great just
Get out.
popcorn movie. Like we went
It
and
was
saw it all together. We talked through it. There was a big
so
twist at the end, which
engaging.
by the way, spoilers again. And it really latched onto that fear that everybody's got right now, which is none of this is real. We're all in a simulation.
Yeah. No, but
What'd you think of that, John? How do you think that played out?
Oh, I told you, and this is true. We will never know the impacts that this movie has on my
On
mental
your
health.
personal mental
Because
health.
John
I
will spiral.
was like, just first of all, I will say that it presented as kind of like, there was gaps. The main character, there was kind of these gaps in time for her, and I thought like, oh, this is a commentary on like maybe mental health, like
Sure.
she's going through some sort of taxing episode, and so that's when I was like, oh, it's another commentary on mental health,
Sure.
because
Could
there's
be.
a lot of those nowadays. But then when you figure out what's actually happening, you're going like, oh my gosh, like I'm literally second guessing everything. Like
The
I
men-
space out a lot
men
when I
suck.
don't have caffeine.
The
Like
men
I just kind of zone out.
Yeah, sure.
And I go, what if that's someone resetting me? Like
Well,
like
What
genuinely,
if
you know?
somebody's like putting little
So-
drops in my eyes right now?
Ew.
For an overall gist
Crazy.
of it, this is gonna water it down so much.
Go ahead,
Yes.
water it
But-
down.
But the idea is Florence Pugh is our main character, and she has this idyllic life with her husband Jack, and they live in this you're thinking it's in the 50s.
It's like a
Yeah.
utopia.
It's a little utopia,
In,
and they're
Palm
totally
Springs.
they're totally playing off of Los Alamos, which was the town in which the atomic bomb was tested and created in America, which was like the secret town. Everyone who lived there, their husbands weren't allowed to talk about their jobs. They lived in this fake little town that no
Way
one
out
could
in the
know
desert.
about, way out in the desert, and it was idyllic because it was brand new, made for only these small amount of people. And so the whole thing is you think that their husbands are working on the quote unquote victory project, and they all have these fancy jobs in which they can't talk
And
about.
they're thinking it's like weapons.
They're thinking
Yeah.
it's
Wives are like,
weapons, all this
"Baby."
stuff. Their husbands leave every day and come back, and they just live this perfect life as women, where they clean and they cook and they go shopping and they hang out and they get to go to the pool.
Then they make dinner and
And they
then
go to ballet class, make dinner, they have sex,
It's
and
like
then
all it's like all
they
the
do it
same
again.
every day.
Yes.
Yeah. And one thing that I was, because in the 50s, it's set in this era, so you think, in which the men are providing, the men, like the
Yes.
women, where like in your mind, when you think of it, it's like women were kind of like subservient to men.
Yes.
And that was like the whole like
Yes,
gist.
And I think
It's
that's
happened.
incredibly intentional in the writing.
But then you
go
look at
ahead.
it, and I thought about this. I spiraled the other night because there are multiple sex scenes that were like expressed and like talked about prior with all the like news
Olivia
going on around
Wilde
it.
and-
But I noticed that it wasn't actually like, it was oral sex scenes in which she was the only one getting pleasure every single time. Like he never. It was him going down on her, him like fingering her, him. It was only her
you're
pleasure,
right.
and I think that turns around because, like, let's talk about spoilers. At the end, you find out that Harry Styles is kind of this like incel,
Yeah.
and he's like obsessed with her and has
Yes.
kind of trapped her in this situation, and. I
Do you think it goes that far?
Oh,
or
like
do you think
1,000%. I think it is
'cause I
so
know
intentional that she
in interviews with Olivia Wilde, like her reasoning was literally because you don't see enough of that on screen.
No, I think that's
No,
I think
I
that's
think-
great.
I think you can
but
go
I think it could
deeper with the
tie.
writers.
It can be both. I think. Now,
That's
that's
true.
what's great about this movie. It's like good and bad. I think. I think the movie's for sure getting dragged for the fact that it's like a feminist piece,
And
right?
Harry Styles
Yeah.
is not
is like
the best.
men rule the
He is not
world,
great in it.
but women like are really kind of the like. I don't know, the lifeblood behind the whole thing, because the only reason the men are doing it is because of the women, and so like
Yeah.
and she obviously ends up at the end like breaking out of this whole simulation situation.
Yeah.
I thought Harry was great in the movie. By the way,
I think-
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
I don't know what you're talking
I do
about.
have to, well,
I think it was harder. I think it's if you put someone who is not necessarily a classically trained actor next to Florence Pugh, who is like
Yes.
an insane
Oh my God,
actress.
she's
Like you're
served.
setting
But
anyone up to
She's
fail.
served
Okay, but it
this
works
movie.
in this scenario because he's trying to pretend to be something like that. That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whole thing is he's
Uh-huh.
pretending to be something he's not in this.
Yes.
In this world, so like
Yeah.
it works.
I do have to say I cannot imagine Shia LaBeouf in that role.
No, I think
I don't
that
know. I
he.
kind of thought about it. I thought he would be good
Maybe
too.
if he was clean cut and like in that, because I
Yeah.
think the
He could've pulled it off.
the grimy side of
Yes.
it would have been really
Uh-huh.
good.
I think also the like obsessed with you side he could have really
Yeah.
done
Yes.
harder. Where
Which
Harry
that-
Styles kind of was like. I don't know. I
So
kind of
going
I kinda
back to
felt
my
like boy
point,
band
like
Harry.
that's the whole thing, right? Is like it's a man ruled, it's a male ruled society, but only because all of these men are obsessed with their women counterparts in real
Yeah.
life.
So
Because
the
they don't have the
whole
ability to
the
do it
big
in real
oh,
life.
do you guys want to explain the big
The
twist?
big twist is that basically podcasters are to blame for this whole
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, well,
In the
true.
real,
So
so in the
funny.
real world, Harry Styles is this unemployed kind of like loser that's dating
Florence
or married
Pugh.
to Florence Pugh,
Married to, yeah.
who is
and
in the real world was a surgeon.
a surgeon, and she's got this full-time job, and it like runs her whatever. She's like
Pays
she's
everything.
the breadwinner of
Yeah.
this
yeah,
situation.
because he lost his job.
And Harry Styles goes down this, alt-right pipeline of he finds this podcast that's talking about a new, and it's Chris Pine is this like pseudo cult leader almost,
Yeah.
where he's
Leader.
talking about this technology where the men basically. This couple is going to put themselves into this simulation,
This
this
virtual
VR.
It's
reality.
like going into psychosis.
But every
Yeah.
day, the man has to wake up and basically take care of
the woman's
her
real body.
unconscious body in this bed.
and himself.
And himself,
Himself.
obviously you got to like work and upkeep the house and whatever.
And there's so many, since we've watched it, I've seen so many TikToks like dissecting it.
Uh-huh.
And there's like
I'm
one
thinking
part.
of things right now.
There's
Um,
one
Yeah.
part in the early beginning where Florence Pugh is talking to Harry Styles about making dinner for like a dinner party.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, I'm going to do tuna. And he
tuna.
goes, oh, no, like Frank, the cult leader, Chris Pine, doesn't like tuna. And then when you cut to him in the real world taking care of their bodies,
He's
he's
eating a
eating
can of
like, and
tuna.
you see like
Yeah.
stacks of cans
'Cause that's all
of
he
tuna
can
because that's all
afford.
he can
Because
afford.
he's just sustaining himself enough to get back into
And-
the virtual
and
world.
You go to her real body, and they have like her eyes like held
It's
open.
very
Wired
Kubrick
open.
reference to Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, and she has she's tied down, and she has an IV to sustain her, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like pouring water droplets into her mouth to keep her alive,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole trigger is he's singing this song of
Yep.
like I want to be with you,
Yeah.
and
And I'm thinking like the system must just not be perfect, right? Because
Well, that's the whole thing.
throughout the
It's
whole
like-
beginning is like she's seeing these basically like glitches in the Matrix.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
breaking
Oh,
down.
the suffocating is so. It's like
That scene
it's like
with
a
the glass
play-
wall
It's
was
a
crazy.
play on
Yeah.
like that VR. Like they just can't like.
It's
crack
never gonna be
The
real.
real life
Mm-hmm.
in the VR. Like,
Yep.
and that's
Yep.
happening on the technology side in real time. Like
Yes.
in today, it's like VR has made huge strides, but they can't figure out just how to make it like perfectly lifelike. And I thought those suffocate, like those scenes like where she's suffocating or she feels like something's off is so good at the end.
It starts because there's another girl, another one of the wives who they try to say has gone crazy.
Yep.
Because she went out with her son and
She went past the
past
barrier
the
of
barrier.
the town.
Women aren't supposed to go to where the men go to quote unquote work because it's where they go to like take themselves out of the simulation. And this woman went there and, you know, her son disappears and she lost her son in it. And one thing that I thought about later is one of the symbolisms that keeps on happening is her son had like this little toy airplane, this red airplane, and Florence Pugh goes out because she thinks she sees an airplane crash.
And it was the same red biplane.
And it was the same
Yep.
red biplane, and she starts seeing all these glitches
Yep.
from it. And the other wife is like, I told you I'm not crazy. You see it too,
Yep.
and you know we're
But
trapped.
she doesn't
and,
want to believe it. Still.
and she doesn't want to believe it because she has this idyllic life, but she starts to realize that like she doesn't really have memories, and that these people like there's only so many options to choose from of like.
Yep.
Where to meet? Where did you and your spouse meet?
Like three
Where did
stories,
you honeymoon?
yeah.
There's like
Crazy.
three,
Which is
three
so funny that they come
stories.
up with this technology. That was the one thing that I was like, really? That's what they caught on to?
Yep.
They come up with this insane technology and they only come up with 3 different backstories for the freaking 20 people that
But
are there.
you know, and it's not. So this is kind of the cool turn at the end after the turn, right? Is like there's a woman in it, Olivia Wilde, that knows it's a simulation, and she's
Yeah.
choosing
To stay in it.
stay because it's perfect, and she has kids. In the real world, her kids were gone or they died or
Dead or
something, and
something.
in the fake world, she has the ability to be with the kids, to have this perfect life. So it begs the question, and Olivia Wilde's even talked about it in interviews, like what is, you know, people benefiting from a society that marginalizes them, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's women, right? Like, can women find benefit in a world that they're actually not, you know, in charge? They don't have the same power as men. They don't have the same, you know,
they'd be
representation
happy, yeah.
as
Well,
men.
I mean, like that goes back to the true fight for equal rights and women's rights. Like there was a whole side that said like, no, we do not want equal rights. We do not want to be put on the same stage as men. We do not want to be put on the same pedestal. Like we want to be held as different, you know?
Because, you know, they're like, oh, we get to just have this little life where I cook and clean and I don't have any,
it's easy.
you know, I don't have any aspirations. I just want to be this stay-at-home
Yeah.
person or whatever. But you're subservient to men. So it's like, that's the exchange. And she even said on I think I saw her interview on Colbert, like that's kind of the whole message is like,
Yeah.
how do you get the rest of the women to break out and realize
Yeah.
like there's more to life than just
And
serving men?
You can tell. That's one thing that I would say, like a note of mine since spiraling about this movie since
Yeah, go
last
ahead.
night, is you can tell there must be so many things on the cutting room floor, which actors have come out and said, like
A lot of scenes got cut.
Most of our scenes got cut, all this stuff. Because there's a scene at the end where Florence Pugh is like actually like breaking out of it and is like gonna run away, and all the other women that are kind of stuck in it, you kind of start to see their wheels turning and their husbands are like trying to get them to go back inside.
And every lamppost of where these women live
It's like
shatters.
exploding.
shatters
Yeah.
is like exploding, and they're all kind of pulling their hands away from their husbands, but kind of like what you said is like the whole thing is, even though there's like women are like subservient in this world, it's only because their husbands are so like obsessed with them that they want to keep them for themselves, because they're literally leaving every day to just like keep them alive in the real world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Crazy.
weird.
I think there's a really interesting theme too
Uh-huh.
with the men of like, you know, I think as we've seen with so much progression and women, you know, over the last 60 years,
Yep.
like really shattering the glass ceiling, so to speak, but also coming into the workplace and taking high positions in all these
Yep.
areas.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you're seeing a lot of men who like kind of lose their purpose. Like they don't really feel like they know what they're doing. And I thought that was kind of equally displayed with Harry's character is he had no purpose in the real world. So his purpose became like kind of controlling and taking care of her in this
and how sad
distorted
too,
way.
like this kind of hierarchy of men and women, of gender, inequality, men suffer from it too, right? Because how sad that Harry Styles' character has nothing if not to be this like, oh, I'm the breadwinner. Like his whole personality falls apart.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He's like, I literally have to synthesize this feeling of I'm better than you. Like, I'm going to support you. And he can't just live in this world where she, makes more money than him.
Yeah, women
It's
can't
crazy.
be
Well,
powerful.
and that like
It's
she
interesting.
works and she has this like job of honor, truly, like especially now, a post 2020 world. Not that being a surgeon prior wasn't like honorable,
Sure.
but even like healthcare in general, like is such a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Especially now.
You see the stark dynamics too when they cut back and forth of like
Yes.
they're living in that apartment and she comes home from work and he's like wanting to have sex and she's like not now, and it's like, but then in like this virtual reality it's like this very good clockwork, like he comes home, they have sex immediately. It's like very much a man's ruled world, but you see it
And she
how much it's
cooks.
shaped by his actual reality.
Yeah.
Back when they were both in it, it's like he has these things that he wanted and he's gonna like make them happen in this new virtual, like the confidence shift is weird. It's interesting.
And I think all of those themes is why it's getting dragged.
Yeah.
Sure.
I absolutely think, it's got a female director, it's got a female leading, character.
Whole cast.
It's really, and like Florence Pugh's a powerhouse, man.
So
She's like
freaking good.
one of my favorite actresses right now.
So
and
freaking
so
good.
I don't think it's not for naught that it's getting dragged. Even before it was even out, people were dragging it. And obviously the nature of the marketing was unconventional, and that's a whole other thing outside of, I think, that really didn't even serve the movie well.
No, not
only
at
to
all.
get us to go and see it because like, oh, whatever, like, oh, this is crazy. But I think I still would have enjoyed it either way.
I
think it was
really
a great
feel
movie.
like that the preview, like I didn't think the preview was that great. Like going into it, I was like, oh, like yeah, I'll see it because I wanted to see it, but it wasn't like I was dying to see it.
I think it was really aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
Oh, it was so good.
And I think like, obviously Olivia Wilde is tapping, like I said, like Kubrick and like this kind of new Hitchcock thing, like where that I think Jordan Peele is doing the same thing. This like new but old, like classic thriller twist thing. And it's like, you can do that. That's fine. But I think where it really shined was in the performance. Like I thought Chris
good.
Pine did a great job.
Did
when
such
he
a
was,
good job.
He didn't get nearly enough screen time, I thought.
I think this film it's like a film class, analysis movie. It's like
find a piece of symbolism,
oh
write an essay
yeah,
on it.
oh yeah, like they're going
But
to
that's
be
what
using that.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, though, is I think that she is doing a lot to emulate that too. As I think that, she did Booksmart too, which was like the classic teen comedy,
That was a good
coming of
one.
age story that has its new spin in today's time. And I think that's cool, and it'll work for a time where we're in this fascination with, decades and like emulating certain feelings from, the 60s and the 70s in
Oh,
this
man.
movie, and then like the 80s in Booksmart,
I think this one was interesting because it almost speaks on that in the sense of like we have become obsessed with idolizing these times that are not representative of how the world is anymore.
And honestly, weren't that great to begin
that
with?
weren't that great in the beginning. And like at one point, and I think this is the one thing that's like kind of like, is he a hero or a villain in it? Of like Harry Styles did this truly because he was like so in love with her. Like it was like at one point he's like, once she figures it all out, he's like pleading, he's like, I did this for us and I love you and I love you so much and now I don't have to lie to you now that you know and I'm so excited. Like, and he's like trying, like on his knees begging to her, and she has this moment where she's like, you took my life.
Because he wasn't, maybe he was in love with her, but I think he was more in love with the idea of her.
And then to get her to stay, she's
Well,
like,
she
hey,
has that
let's
moment.
get pregnant, because what if we have a kid and that kid's not real? So if you leave the simulation, your kid is here.
Yeah, like it traps you
The
in.
emotional
of like,
connection.
you need a
yeah,
kid.
totally.
She also has that moment right before she races to the headquarters, and she has that moment where he like comes back into frame and she remembers this more memory where he's like, it's me and you. And I think that was for her like this moment where
This
she
core
had to
memory.
Like, do I
decide.
choose here
She had
or
to
there?
decide like if I do this, there's like truly no going back. Like
But the reality is there was no going back. Well,
I know,
anyway.
but
Yeah.
to some
Because
degree,
the biggest spoiler of all, she kills him.
If you die in the game, you die
Okay,
in real
we
life.
don't know if he's actually dead.
No, we do.
Well, no, that's what Olivia
cut to
Wilde
his screen
said.
and he
No,
goes,
because Olivia. No, because it. No.
Yes.
She-
And then she says, if the men die in
In
here,
here,
they die in real life.
and
Only the
you're-
women can
She only
not
hit
die.
him over the head.
He was bleeding out.
He
She
died.
was cut. He
No, and
died.
it cuts to him in bed in the real world, and he goes,
No, it didn't. It never
Okay.
cut back.
Going
We never
for-
even went back to
that's
that.
fine. We'll rewatch it. That's fine.
What?
I'm telling you that's what happened.
Oh, really? I don't remember that
distinctly
part.
remember
No.
when she hits him over the head with the glass.
It
cuts to
flashes.
him in the bed, right?
Yeah, it's like a
and his
flash.
little
It's very
eye
fast.
things turn off, and he
Oh.
dies.
I don't remember.
It was
I don't
quick.
remember.
It was pretty
probably
quick.
a
So
flash.
fast.
It was
Blink
a
and you
lot
miss
of
it.
flashes during
It's
the.
definitely a rewatch. I would for sure
definitely
love to
a
go
I'm
back.
rewatch.
trying to now. I'm going back and thinking, why did they always have those giant earthquakes? Was that the men exiting?
Probably going back, right?
Like the bed moving?
Yeah.
Like when he's getting out of bed.
well, he was
And
there
then
when it happened
also-
one time though.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Maybe it was like
It
I
was
was
a
thinking
train
about that
passing
too.
by.
Of like, what
It
is
was a,
that?
what do you
Maybe
call
it
it?
was something in their real life.
their
yeah.
environment.
It was like an update.
Or like
Okay,
Like
that's-
when she would be taking a bath and like would go under and like drown.
Yep.
Is that like when he's giving her water?
Sure.
Or like when
lapse
her,
of
there's
time,
a lot
I
of eye
think.
twitches
Yeah.
too.
I
There's
think-
points where she like looks at her eye and she's like she does that and it's like is that eye drops?
The more I think about it, I'm like, The Matrix kind of did this,
Yeah.
and Inception kind of did this.
and I will say I think they kind of did it better.
I think
haven't seen The Matrix, so.
The Matrix is great.
that's a good one.
It's like kind of more this same idea but long-winded, like
Yeah.
like choosing to live in a reality that you're just like a brainless zombie and and Inception kind of does the same thing where there's like the people that want to live in the dream world forever, and so as technology gets better, and that becomes a thing, right? And we've talked about the metaverse on this show a lot, this idea that you're not really, we're kind of doing it, right? With
Yeah.
social media and with the internet, and we can live our entire life on the internet and never really ever have to go outside, which we learned over the pandemic, right? I mean,
I really hope they don't try and make another movie out of this. And I also want to say that I just loved the ending. I love an ending that lets you decide
Yeah.
where
oh
to
yeah,
take
no,
it from
there,
there.
there's
ends-
nowhere
it
to
ends-
there's nowhere to extrapolate the
It
story any
ends
further.
loved
with
it.
her. These guys in red are chasing after her, trying to get her, and she exits, and it goes to black, and you just hear a gasp.
Like
By
she
the
wakes
way,
up.
the
Yeah.
score should win an Oscar. I thought
Absolutely.
the
score was
Absolutely.
freaking
wonderful.
amazing.
Was
And I don't really
so
even notice that stuff that much.
good.
But like the moments where they did like that all that breathing.
Yeah.
and
A lot of it was like
oh
a
my
beehive,
gosh.
like the beehive
Yes, Annie
sound,
pointed
which
that
is
out
so
during
the
good.
humming of the
and it was like
beehive.
whenever, because their whole thing that you keep on hearing, Chris Pine, like it's like a cult leader where he's like
Yep.
having this podcast, which is getting played kind of over the TV, and it's
Totally.
like
I think that was getting played in their environment
Piped
in real,
into
because
the
remember
radio
remember the
stations.
screen is projected on the
Yeah.
on the roof and you hear the noises
yeah, and
too.
she keeps on getting flashes of what the like loading screen is when you enter the game. She keeps on getting those flashes just throughout the movie. But
Yep.
he's talking about like we like unified and succinct and the same movement and togetherness and all this stuff, and
Yes.
if we are like a well-oiled machine, like we can make a better tomorrow and all this stuff. And in the same time, like the girls are taking like these ballet dance like classes where they're moving these perfect motions, and then you're seeing like synchronized swimmers. That's like the big flash
and
you
they
keep
all
on
go
getting.
to the mall, and it's like the girl in the girl that's the mannequin is like one of the girls in the loading
Yeah.
screen. It's like
and you keep on hearing these like almost beehive like scores.
Well, and if you think about it too, like the only thing that ever threatens their society is somebody breaking order. I mean, and
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
really does that
Yes.
in the end.
Yes.
Everyone starts all these. Like you said, you see all the women go, "Wait a minute,
If the
this
queens
is kind
leave,
of weird,
then-
right?"
and that's why nobody
whole
ever
hive
questioned,
falls.
that they all had the same backstory, because they were just like, oh, it's so great. And it
Yeah.
only ever like you only
So
and that
good.
right, and so that's what we pull into real world, is the critical thinking, is if we're not just shutting our stupid little meat brains down for 2 seconds, we can go, like this situation I'm in sucks for, certain people. I'm going to get out of it.
Yeah.
And, despite what society is telling you.
Interesting. Like,
so fascinating. And just a great, like, continuing of this conversation, because I feel like it's across every medium right now, is like, the whole, like I was saying, social media, like shut off and just enjoy the serotonin. Like, it's crazy,
Well, and I think there was also some undertone themes in there of like, happiness is becoming increasingly harder to achieve with, everything that's going on in our world. We see a lot of that.
The dream
on.
of owning a home.
Yeah.
And sustaining, this gorgeous lifestyle, and and choosing if you want to have kids or not, and stuff like that. Like, that is not always an option.
Yeah, I think it was kind of interesting. Like, I saw a lot of that, and of like, because they flash back to when they were in the apartment together. Like, she just clearly isn't happy, and whether that is because she has to work a lot or because he's kind of a deadbeat, that he recognized that she doesn't love her life, and it's like,
I have a different perspective of that.
Let's hear it.
I think it is played off as if she's not happy. But then when you go to her having that moment of he's like, you hated it. And she was like, I loved it. I loved my work.
Because it was mine.
I love what I did. And I think there's this element of like, just like this constant chase. And this is probably going like way too deep into it. But this constant chase of happiness. And like, we can have this perfect life. You can like, love what you do. And if you don't love what you do for work, then like, don't do it. All this stuff like that also in some realm is unbelievable and unattainable, because it's like you're not going to love every single day of your life, but it doesn't mean you don't love it.
The chase is life.
Yeah,
like that is the whole point of it all. Like, she loved it because it was hers.
It was hers, and
she was doing the damn thing.
And she loved what she did. And
Dang,
even though she came back from a 30-hour shift and had to go back in 6 hours, it didn't. And he read that as, you hate this. Let me provide you something better. It's like, no, she loved it.
Well,
and there's a lot there.
All I have to say is catch us going to those Airbnbs in Palm Springs.
Oh,
you can go to all those apartments. It's like a neighborhood.
Let's just turning into a movie review podcast.
It truly is.
The best part of the movie by far was when they have the realization that he's just like a podcaster, and Ryan, you just hear him go like, I was like,
the podcaster.
And
Are we the bad guys?
And then I look at you and I'm like, this is the most terrifying movie I've ever seen.
None of this would have happened without podcasts.
Podcasts.
Anyways, 10 out of 10 movie. Go see Don't Worry, Darling. I will be going to
Should
see it
be called
again.
Gaslight, Darling.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna
way
be
better. It's
yeah.
all about gaslighting.
But that would have
all
probably
about it.
given it away.
No,
right?
I know.
Gaslight.
It's funny.
But Don't Worry, Darling is like a gaslight, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry,
And then it ended with
It
the
is.
perfect song of Life Could Be a Dream.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun. And we're the last ones in the theater, and John just goes, the song.
The song.
Life.
And Ryan and I were like, so who do you think, are we the ones putting our wives in the simulation, or are our wives putting us in the simulation?
1,000% your wives will be putting you in the simulation.
Yes. Oh.
And then
so
they would
awesome.
they would love it. They would be like, okay, well, I get to leave, and you stay here, and I'm gonna have 6 hours where I go take care of your body, obviously, but then also just be alone. Bye.
Yes.
I
Dang.
don't know.
You think so? If I shake hard enough, will I wake myself up? Like, pinch me?
We'll pinch you.
No, I
thanks.
also thought it was interesting to, not to get back into it, but about how she was kind of the only one having the glitching. Like, it made me think like, oh, maybe because she's like such an independent, like her personality is so independent that like the
break your
reality
spirit.
She's breaking
can't like
You cannot
contain
break
it.
spirit.
Well, also because she did leave the simulation and get jumped back in.
I
No,
could
but
never.
like-
I could
But
never
she
put
was-
Cara into that simulation.
But she saw the
She'd be like,
plane. that's her subconscious like
No,
sending
she,
the plane.
She
Hold
touched
on.
it, and
I
then she
know.
woke up in the bed.
But I'm
which
saying she
means-
saw
But
the
she
plane.
saw the plane crash before
She
she
saw the
touched it.
plane is all. Is that,
But there's also a whole squad of red guys that probably went and picked her up and put her back in the bed.
Yeah.
No, it
I
was
just
Harry
think-
Styles taking care of her body. Probably freaking did something.
Oh, you're saying in the real world?
Yeah, in the real
Well,
world.
yeah, because
I think that was the plane was her subconscious of her going like something's not right. Like that's her will. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
because
right?
they were already hearing about the glitching from their friend who had it happen.
Yeah, and the other girls were not disturbed by it. They're like
That
we're
is
not-
what's great is it leaves a lot to,
Yeah.
and
that's true.
and not only that's what I love about movies is it can mean what the director intends, and it can also mean whatever you get out of it.
Hey
too.
guys, go see movies.
Anyway, 10 out of 10, great
save
movie.
It.
Support the theater.
Support the theaters.
Anything else we gotta push here?
John likes cookie dough bites, and that is disgusting.
Okay, you know what?
True. Drag him.
Dude, I had a icy last night at the movie theater. Nothing beats it.
Yeah, you were flying high. I love it.
I was. Well, from all of us here at the WTP studios,
Oh wow, yeah, we're over. Dang.
Way over.
on the couch as always, Cara, Tafolla, Annie Skovmand. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
We'll see you next
Oh.
week.
I just got Annie Skovmand.
You're always Annie Skovmand.
At the
aren't you?
end.
Oh,
Do I call you Annie the Skov at the end?
yeah.
Okay, go ahead and start.
Wow.
again. Start again.
Embarrassing.
The
On the couch
simulation's
as
broken.
always, Cara, Tafolla, Annie the Skovmand. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And we'll see you next week on
On
What the Podcast. She did it.